Hey, what's up, guys? Ryan here. Gonna be playing through Baby Boomer on the Nintendo. It's made by Color Dreams, so it's that weird baby blue cartridge thing. It's a light gun game. It's actually not too bad. It's got a couple flaws in it, but I'll get more in depth into that during the gameplay. So thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoy it.
Alright, so Baby Boomer on the Nintendo, as made by Color Dreams. Now, not a whole lot to say. You are you're the gun and you're protecting the baby. Um, I don't have a properly functioning light gun, and as you can see, like you'll see it as the game gets more difficult. That you really need to have a gun that is accurate and a gun that actually registers the shooting. I mean, you can get away with it maybe in Duck Hunt, if the gun just misfires or whatever. But in a game like this, you really need something that can work properly. So I'm using the control pad, which is why you see the crosshair on the screen. The gold stuff, or the gold nuggets that were mentioned in the beginning of the game, you get each 12 gold nuggets, you get one extra life. Um, Again, not a whole lot to say. You just float around, protecting the baby. So there's the end of the first stage. Uh, Not a whole lot going on in that level, but I mean it's a good introduction. The um, the milk bar on top, that's basically like a running timer. Each time you collect a bottle of milk, which is the white things I'm shooting at that look like bottles of milk, uh, they add time to that timer. If Baby Boomer uh, has no life bar, if he gets touched by anything, he dies, and you have to start the stage over from the beginning. Uh, so there are no checkpoints, which personally I like. I like as a concept. There's no checkpoint because the levels are fairly short. So I don't think you should have a checkpoint in games that have short levels. Uh, you can see now, like some of the stuff's moving in more of an erratic pattern. Like that cat was kind of just flying all over the place. Uh, you can tell what's active. I know, like when I say active, I mean stuff that you can actually shoot. You can tell by the sound that it makes. Um, like when I was shooting at that tombstone, I knew I was shooting at something that I needed to because it made that weird clunk sound. You shoot it 10 times, you get an extra life. That's what happened in the very beginning of the game as well when I was shooting the fire hydrant thing. Um, I don't know if every stage has an extra life, but I mean, I think I died once in this game, and after watching it, when I died, I thought that something was happening when it wasn't. After watching the video, I think I realized it was just my own mistake. But it has something to do with the priorities of what's inside the crosshair. Because when you have multiple enemies, there's some weird priority thing on what the game registers as being hit first or not. Now, I don't know what that is exactly. I'll get into that a little bit later. But so this is, I would say, the hardest stage because you have so much stuff coming at you that on top of trying to create these bridges for the baby, you have to deal with this water right here, which is like the rain. You have stuff flying at the baby constantly. The only thing that makes this level really manageable is the gold milk bottle, which gives me, I think it's a hit bar of 3, and it has its own timer as well. I think it might actually run out here pretty soon. Uh, And again, I mean, just trying to create all these bridges on top of all this stuff flying at your baby, it's pretty difficult. I can get away with it because when you are gold, you have a hit, like some kind of hitbox or a hit, some kind of life bar. I think it's 3, so that makes it manageable. Because if you do forget, the guy's coming, it'll just hit the baby and you'll be fine. Now I'm vulnerable. Anything that touches me, I'll end up dying. But there's another gold bottle, so I'm pretty much safe for the rest of the stage. Now with the gold nuggets, the baby has to actually walk over them or crawl over them and touch them. If I shoot them, they go away and they don't count toward the count. In this stage, I would suggest to completely stay away from all the torches on the wall, because sometimes you'll activate. If you shoot a torch, sometimes it'll basically activate the torch, and that, by activating, I mean it'll start sending out an infinite number of enemies at you, so the instant you kill one of them from the torch, another one will come out. Now, having to deal with that on top of, getting the milk and shooting all these things around you and all this other stuff, I mean, it's just, why even deal with the headache? So just stay away from the torches unless they're 100% in the path of the baby. This is the first level where you start having issues with the milk. As you can see, like, each time I get a new bottle of milk, I'm pretty much at the end of the timer that the milk has given me. There are 2 stages that are like this that are pretty close as far as what the game gives you for what you need to complete the stage. As far as I know, I don't think there's any kind of every 5 bullets maybe you lose a tick or something. I don't think that's the case. So I think it is just time, but as you can see, I'm getting close to death again, so I'm concentrating on the right of the screen just to make sure I get the milk. I think I'm going to do it again here in a second. Yeah, there we go. So now I'm done with the stage. Now I'm going to activate one of those endless torches I was talking about here on the left. Now this is just for bonus points, but that's what I'm talking about with the infinite spawning enemies. Especially if it's right above you. I mean, having to do that on top of creating bridges and shooting other stuff, it's almost impossible. This is kind of like a bonus stage. Gets you a bunch of the gold. Maybe if you need an extra life or something. There are 2 stages like this in the game, which is, I mean, convenient enough. I mean, this game doesn't change as far as where the obstacles are and all that stuff. I mean, you play it long enough, eventually you'll know where everything is, and you'll be able to navigate the game pretty successfully. Excuse me. That's pretty much it. I mean, I played this game for about 2 days. I learned where everything was. I'll explain the last stage when we get to it. Now here's the first instance of one enemy that becomes 4 enemies with that ghost. Now, something with the dynamite, even though the dynamite, if it's on a different level, as far if it's higher or lower than the baby, I still have to shoot it. If I don't, regardless of where the dynamite is, I will die. So that's kind of an annoying thing. I mean, if the dynamite's way above you, I mean, how can it pose any kind of threat? But whatever, it's the way the game works. So you got to be careful of that. You have to constantly be scanning, just scanning around each stage, just to make sure there's no dynamite, because you do need to shoot that. Now here's the first part of the game that's a little cryptic. I mean, there's no clues or anything. I'm going to be coming up to 3 doors. You have to go into the middle one by shooting the doorway. I mean, right now I'm just constantly shooting it. You have to go in the middle. The other 2 take you into other rooms that are basically remakes of previous stages, and you basically have to do the whole game over again. So go in the middle one just to progress. Now, this is the stage that I die in, so I have a little bit more time to kind of talk about some stuff here. Now, eh, again, anything that touches this dumb baby, you die. So you have to be very careful with how you shoot things, like in what order you shoot stuff. There is plenty of milk in this stage, so that's something you don't have to worry about. Which is convenient. I mean, nice to get a bone every once in a while, as far as what the game gives you. As far as I know, I don't know how to control if the baby can go to the top level or not. I don't think he can. There are a couple parts in the stage where I kind of wish you'd be able to take different paths, because there's gold and stuff in the way. Like on the top, you can see gold, but there's no way for me to get to it. And on the bottom, there's no way for me to get to that. So I don't know if there's a way to do it or what. See, so here's where... See, I died because the dynamite blew up. Could I reach its position on the map? Now, at first, what I thought happened was there's something with priorities, which I'm actually looking at now. I actually think that might be the case anyway. Again, because I think the way the game works is if there's two enemies in your crosshair, the enemy that's the enemy that's mobile is going to be the enemy that is shot down first. So even if, like in that situation, there was a bat and the dynamite, even though the bat wasn't going to harm me before the dynamite was, because the bat was further away, when I shot it, I think the bat was recognized as getting shot. And by the time that I realized that, I think it was just too late for me to shoot the dynamite. Now again, I'm not sure exactly how the game works. I didn't make it, but that's what I think it is. I think is that if there's something moving and something stationary, the object that's moving takes priority over a stationary enemy. And sometimes, just with the game, sometimes the game doesn't even recognize that you're shooting, because I don't know why. But sometimes the game doesn't recognize you're even shooting, even though things are inside, your crosshair. That being said, I still think the game is pretty well made. It's a fun little game. I mean, personally, I actually like this more than like Hogan's Alley, which is, or not Hogan's Alley. The game Gumshoe, the one where you shoot and each time you hit him, you shoot him and that makes him jump. I think that's Gumshoe. I actually like that. I like this game better than Gumshoe. See, like right here, I got it kind of. Yeah, I don't know what I was gonna say there. Forgot. So this is the second bonus stage. Now this song reminds me, okay, so I don't know if there's any Futurama fans watching these videos, but there's an episode where Bender finds out that he was made without a memory backup unit, so he was defective. So he spends the whole episode looking for the inspector that actually cleared him to be in production, and it turns out to be Hermes at the end. And spoiler alert, this series has been over for a while, so don't yell at me if you haven't seen it yet. So it's Hermes, and there's a song that sounds a lot like this, like very similar as far as this Kate, like this, the rhythm of it at the during the credits, and during there's a section of the episode where it shows you a young Hermes and baby Bender, and it's a pretty good, it's a touching little scene between the two, and you get a pretty good feel for Hermes. But this song reminds me of it. It's only one particular part. Yeah, this part right here reminds me of the song. Yeah, so anyway. So every pipe that has a wheel on it, you need to shoot the amount of times that I shoot it. The first one I believe was 1, and then the second one was 3. And the last one I just did was 0. And then there's 2, and then the last one in the level's 4. You need to shoot the pipes as that many times to go out of the right pipe. If you don't, you'll end up in a bad spot, and you end up dying. So, I don't know if that's the only solution, but I do know it's a solution that is guaranteed to work. Here you shoot the water fountain, you got to protect the baby some more, and then the game's over. So, shoot those 2 guys. Now the game's over. There's a lady with a baby carriage, so I go into the baby carriage. So, I'm going to leave you with this little cutscene in the ending. What I'm going to say is thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed it. And the hint to Baby Boomer 2, I hope somebody makes it, because this game was pretty fun. Thanks for watching.